I'm so sorry. um what happened was I was supposed to take a little bite. I'm like rushing. I was supposed to take a little bite and finish it by the time the intro finished. But what I ended up doing, I took a huge bite and I was dancing around. I ended up dancing around, not realizing. What can I say? I like my intro song. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is you need to know this. Okay? I was totally dancing around, and you guys, I made a new BFF at the gym. I made a new BFF at the gym. She's 70. And she's like, I just came over to brag. I was like, you do you, boo. Brag. Absolutely. In my head, I'm like, you came to the right one. I was like, you looking good, girl. You looking good. And she goes, you look good. And I was like, I see your muscles popping. And she totally was like, I'm 70. I was like, no. And I was serious. I was like, no. And yeah, we were totally chatting. And then she's like, but that's not what I'm here to brag about. And I was like, tell me, girl, tell me. Because you literally came to the right one. If you want to brag about something, I absolutely am willing to hear it. Not even joking. I'm absolutely willing to hear it. It was amazing. It was amazing. I'm surprised she didn't grab me by my shoulders and turn me around to look at my butt. I'm serious. And I totally would have been like, yes, go ahead, look. I totally would have too. I totally would have. So now I have a new BFF. She says she doesn't have very many friends. And I didn't say it out loud, but my heart was screaming, I will be your BFF. My heart was screaming this. I didn't want to say it out loud, but I don't want to scare her off. I didn't want to scare her off. You know what I mean? So I totally was like, fuck yeah, I need one too. I need a gym BFF. Okay. I see her on the stair climber. Before she starts her workouts, maybe she can be my stair climber friend. You know what I'm saying? She don't need no diabetes energy with all that cake. I'm saying she might need it. She might need it. All right, let's get started. What do you need to know? Okay. I'm having a side quest convo over here. Yo no soy marinero. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán. Soy capitán. That's why you two are so talkative. That's why it's okay. We're going to roll with it. We're just roll with it. We're going to roll with it. You're not going to kill my vibe today. I ain't got time for that. All right. So masculine, there's masculine energy all up in this reading. I don't know what that means yet. We're going to find out. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're stepping more into that masculine energy. Um, mm, if you're stepping into masculine energy, this is usually indicative of the fact that you don't feel safe in the environment that you're occupying, and you're like on the defensive. Not that you are defensive and not willing to hear people. I mean, some of you might be, I don't know. That's not the sense that I'm getting, though. I'm getting more that this message has to do with you needing to allow this masculine aspect of yourself to come forward so you can finally let some mofos know. You need to let people know when they're crossing a line with you, either through your actions or your words or both. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're not okay with, people need to know that you're not okay with that. They just need to know. And when you let people know, it creates some type of stability in you. Why? How? Well, because now you're realizing, um if they respect that, if they listen to what you're communicating is your need, then like, okay, they do care, they do respect me, they just didn't know they were crossing a boundary. But if they don't, if they totally take what you say and get upset as though you having boundaries is a bad thing, then that's legit basura. Basura. Like, toss that out. It's, you know what I'm saying? Toss it out. It's not worth it. It's not worth keeping garbage type energy in your life. I know that's very abrasive, but I'm feeling like it needs to be abrasive because maybe for those that find that abrasive, there's a very elevated potentiality that you've gotten so accustomed to the sugarcoating of the bullshit in life that you think life is supposed to smell that way. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not supposed to smell that way. I said what I said. Absolutely. It's not supposed to smell that way. Okay. Okay. I'm feeling good today. I am. Um, yeah, it took me like 2 weeks, but I'm feeling good now. Hmm. Mhm. Yes. I'm in ketosis again. Yes. Yes. I know this. I know this. Stop talking to me. So the stability. There's a lot of like cracks and whatnot in the path, right? And it's almost like this sense of you realizing that things are not going to be perfectly paved for you, and you realizing that it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You don't need a guardian. You got this. Okay? You don't need someone outside of yourself to speak for you, to make your needs known, whatever other else, right? You just have to set this intention and not allow the disrespect to continue. What are you guys dealing with? What are you guys dealing with that this is like the vibe right now? Hmm. I'm super curious, aka nosy. Like, what's going on? Is there conflict? Hmm. Hmm. It's looking like there's internal conflict. Ooh, you're being presented with the opportunity to really begin to realize just how much your decisions are greatly affecting the trajectory of your path, right? Like, what do you need to happen? What is it? Have you set the intention yet? Have you kind of like declared what it is that you want to happen, and a general time frame of when you want that to happen. For example, I can't think of one. I can't think of an example. Mm, hmm. Why don't one of you kind of give me an idea of what's happening in your life? Like, really, like just a very quick, short synopsis. Um, synopsis. Synapses. Those are two different words, girl. My brain is firing very quickly right now. um, so an intention needs to be set. And this is something, it's like you need to accept that who you are right now. Ocean Soul! Hi, boo. Who you are right now is enough. Who you are right now is enough. And what's happening is that you're being shown that who you are right now is enough. Okay, trying to figure out if you should move out of state. So, setting that intention, right? We're going to use blissful as an example. Um, thank you for volunteering. So, you have to set the intention. Do you really want to move out of state? Set that intention. What state do you want to move to? Right? I'm assuming it's a state that has some type of snow, some type of mountainous wilderness type space. And it's something that you don't have to rebirth yourself. You don't have to become a different you. It's like you're being encouraged to be you, but in a different environment. And sometimes when you're placed in a different environment, you can then be more of who you actually are than you've been your entire life. I went through this exact same thing, right? Where being removed from the comfortable, familiar environment is the very thing, that discomfort, that lack of familiarity was the very thing that liberated me to be more of who I actually am. Because now I'm not bound by the established dynamics in the environment that basically I grew up in, right? So it's this thing of setting an intention, not hiding from yourself what you really want. What do you really want? And this is a question that continuously pops up in readings. What do you really want? And if you can't find the courage to admit to yourself what it is you really want, what's going to happen is your whole environment is going to feel unsafe. You're going to be in that very masculine energy. And as you're in that masculine energy, your environment is most likely going to become um, incongruent with your path. For some, it might even become very adversarial, right? Where the people who you assumed would support you through anything and everything because they love you. That's at least that's what you believed, and that's what they've been saying. Suddenly, they're not supportive. Suddenly, they don't understand. You're becoming someone different when in reality, you've been playing a character this whole time, and this different person you're becoming is actually you shedding the layers, the masks, all of these different types of caricatures of aspects of you that you've been playing. um you're getting rid of all that, right? I think what needs to happen for many of us is we need to really just allow ourselves to get very, very um, aware. Aware of what? Well, there's quite a few different things that's happening. What part of your journey do you need to be aware of? Is it an internal thing? Is it an external thing? Is it something that's just like, huh, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what to do with this. Um, I don't know exactly who I am anymore. I mean, that's a hard realization to reach. I've been there as well. I've definitely been there as well. It's difficult. This is a difficult part of the journey. And I think the most difficult parts are often the most powerful because those are the parts of your journey that reintroduce you to the most powerful parts of you, right? So, exiting the environment that kept me bound to behaving, existing, viewing myself in my life in the way that everyone has told me to, exiting that and entering into the wilderness of my journey, right? That was scary. And I thought I had gone through the things that I need to go through and that I knew myself at that point, only to find out that from that point all the way through for, I don't know, 3, 4 years, I was still absolutely playing a caricature of myself, just a different one, just a different one. So I left California and I was like, I'm not going to be that anymore. I need to figure out who I am. This hurts so much. Oh my gosh, I'm losing sight of who I am. I don't know who I am. Who am I? Who am I? And I just kept trucking along, trucking along. And then here comes Michael communicating the things from soul, like you need to be publicly visible, but I don't know who I am. What, like, what? That's how that conversation literally went. What? How do, what? You, you, you want me to teach things? I had my clipboard. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I had my clipboard. For y'all who don't know, I've been homeschooling my children for like the past 20 something years. And I'm like, you need me to teach? I will have a clipboard. I will have some bullet points of things I need to cover. Give me a topic and I can teach it. And that's not what soul wanted from me. That's not what soul was asking me to do. And as I got more comfortable in the environment, the publicly visible environment that I was thrust into, I got rid of the clipboard and I began speaking from fictitiously authentic space. Ooh. Wow. And I'm over here feeling and thinking like I don't want where this conversation is going. Like I'm going to find a way to change the subject because I'm really good at that. I'm really good at deflection. And I look over at my bag of chips that I'm going to fucking eat after this. And this is a message. Take it here. Take it here, right? Take it here. Take it to this conversation. Take it to this space. I existed as a caricature of myself from 2016 all the way through till 2019. No, 2015. All the way through to 2019. And it was a process of me realizing the fictitiously authentic aspect of me because it's authentic but it's fictitious in that that's not the totality of me, and that's how I presented it. I presented it as me in my totality, existing with profound authenticity, never allowing anyone else to see other aspects of myself, right? And now I look back and it's like one of my really good friends, like really really good friends, her husband, or now ex-husband, is a full on, like, he's narcissistic as fuck, like straight up demon horita. Fuck you, I don't like you, sir. But you see, that's the thing. I was just so politically correct that he thought that I would be on his side. I was so good at playing neutral that he felt comfortable in his attempt to try and turn me against my friend, right? He felt that comfortable. That was the role that I was playing, just a space of neutrality for everyone. And I look back and I remember what he said to her because she was trying to get him to basically co-sign, to support her decision to make handcrafted spiritual things. And she's really good at it. Like the things she makes are gorgeous, like on a whole nother level of gorgeous and bougie. Like, oh my God. And as part of that, she had sat him down while I was live streaming. He'd known me for a couple of years already. And he'd only known me very quiet. Like I never speak when he's in the room. I just like quietly half smile, like, and I don't say anything. Um, and he had said to her, I think it was an auction that he had sat in on. He had said to her, like, of course, people are eating this up. They love her shit. I was like, what? And he went on to tell her, yeah, no, she's an absolute spiritual Twinkie. Look at her. Obviously, they're going to buy whatever she says because she's fucking cute. And when I heard that then, I was like, ew, what a dick. He's always been a dick. I'm not surprised, right? Now, from a space of truly entering into a depth of authenticity, I understand what he meant. I was playing a caricature of myself. I was wearing children's clothes. I literally was wearing children's clothes. All my clothes were from the children's section. And I still remember the live stream he watched. I was wearing one of my most favorite shirts. It was like a graham cracker and a marshmallow. And it said, I love you s'more. That was one of my favorite shirts. You know what I'm saying? And I had my crystal kitty ears and I had my dolly lashes on. And I was extremely lean. And when I'm extremely lean like that, I look like I'm about 19 years old, maybe even 18, maybe even younger. I got carded for a video game that I was with my son to buy. And the guy even he scanned my license and then he said it's a really good fake, but that's not me. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm old enough to be your mom. I'll beat your ass in this store. It's a caricature. I was playing a caricature and not even realizing it. Speaking with a higher tone in my voice. And you know, in order to speak with your voice that high pitched, you have to speak from the top. You're basically internally choking yourself in order for the air to be pushed out in such a way that produces a higher pitch. And although I thought I was existing in a space of authenticity, true, genuine depth of authenticity, it was as authentic as I could be in that period of my life, but not as authentic as I actually am capable of being. Right? So I guess what I'm saying is, where are you in your journey? Are you finally in a space where you're realizing some of the things that other people have been saying, maybe the backhanded compliments, maybe the full on insults? Um, was that soul kind of in a very abrasive manner trying to sand off the masks, trying to sand down the calluses that have developed? I think we're all kind of being led to be more of who we actually are. Yes, I was timid, but am I actually a timid person? It depends. It depends. It really depends. I identify as introverted, but the reality is I'm actually an ambivert. I'm capable of being highly extroverted, dependent on the environment I'm immersed in. So that's the truth of me. That's the reality of me. That is the totality of me. What is the truth of you? What is the reality of you? What is the totality of who you are? Because these are things you need to begin considering as you're being prepared to reach the next level of what you're going to accomplish in life. What are you here to do? What is it that you want to do? Regardless of whether you can do it being paid or not, what is it that you want to do? What is it? What is your dream? Because it's in this moment you're being invited by soul to really, really decide, what will you have soul create for you? And then free soul to make it happen in the most compassionate way. When I say, what do you want soul to make happen for you? I'm not talking about create a business plan, a game plan, or any of those things. I'm talking about looking at what the end result is that you want, and then trusting in soul so blindly that you give soul free reign to make this happen in your life. I wish there were these certain things that I could verbalize to you right now, things that pertain to my personal life, my personal existence, that could give you a very rounded, complete idea of how soul has shown up for me and the end results of that. But I'm just not comfortable. I'm not comfortable. I haven't yet healed this festering wound that I have pertaining to money, material things, um, and how that enters into the reality of my existence in real life existence, right? Okay. Michael says, this next sentence that I'm about to say will not violate my privacy or encroach on my current need to continue processing and healing that wound that pertains to money. I will quote him. I will repeat what he said verbatim. I am successful in my own right. It was not handed to me. It was not created for me. It was something I created with my own hands, my own heart, my own thoughts, my own courage. I am successful in my own right. I am aware that although I still try and play smaller than I am, and yes, I do, my presence carries a weight with it that displaces most people. This is why I tend to not do interviews. I tend to not interact with others on a professional level. Every time I've been on someone else's show, this is the nature of me. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel so awkward. It makes me feel very negative things about myself. But this is the truth and the nature of me. Any space you place me in, I will dominate it because that is the nature of me. It's hard to say that. Mm. And Michael asks, why are you about to cry? Because it feels rude. It feels unnecessary. It feels bossy. It feels pompous. And he says people ask you onto their show because they want to see you, not a caricature of who you choose to show. I'm going to have to work on that. I'm going to have to deeply work on that. Because the reality is, I'm not designed to be confined to simply my platforms. Part of my purpose and my path is to be visible, very visible. And that requires me being exposed to other people's platforms. And I need to come to terms with whatever remaining fears and hesitation that I have, right? Thank you for that, Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts says it's okay for you to say that. It's a good domination and isn't received as being pompous at all. I don't know. I don't know. I think one of the first bigger names that decided to interview me for whatever reason, um, it really affected me. Because as I was being interviewed, while in the process, it was just me having a conversation with the host of the show. And the supportive words that I received afterwards just, it negatively affected me. Because one person who was present during the interview and has worked with this person before, this person has a huge audience. I don't know. They had made these comments of, I completely took over the show. And the host wasn't in a host type way at that point. I was the last interview for that. Like the interviews that came before me were interviews where, usual questions, had composure. And it took several people pointing out that I completely altered the dynamic of that. And it was like it was my show and my space. And that because of my presence, the host shifted into a different space and held himself in a different way and began to explore topics that they pretty much don't explore. And yes, their words were intended to be very encouraging. I didn't take it that way. I didn't take it that way at all. And it's definitely not insecurity on their part because they were like, this is what you're supposed to do. You're in your element when you speak to people. And I didn't feel that at all. At all. So the issue really stemmed from something inside me, the part of me that convinces me that I'm insufficient, misaligned, that I am too much, when in reality, those are the parts that people are wanting to see more of. You see, the things about you that you think are quite possibly the most unattractive, the most ugly, the most maybe even disrespectful to other people. Um, Oftentimes are the most powerful parts of you that need to be witnessed by the people who are still trying to find their voice, trying to find their place, trying to understand what it is they're here to do. And you really have no idea the ways in which you affect other people. You have no idea. I know I don't. I absolutely know I don't. I have no idea. Do I need to know? I just need to be aware of the ways in which my current wounds still get triggered by other people's perceptions. And I need to heal that. People don't need to stop. I need to heal the parts of me that are attached to the triggers of times that no longer exist. It's important. Things will continue to intensify so long as you don't allow yourself to take responsibility, right? Responsibility in reverse, projecting onto other people the things that exist internally. It's not going to make things easier. It's not going to solve the problem if there is a problem. And maybe that's part of what's happening. This realization that there is not a problem, that instead there is simply a need to acknowledge where you're at within your self healing journey and where it is you need to be next. Knowing that your time frame, your timeline is very unique to you. It's very, very unique to you. And what needs to happen now is you need to allow yourself to be in the very process that you're in. If you need to incubate, then you need to incubate. You need to pull in deeper into yourself. Maybe that's what you need to do. You don't always have to force yourself to do the opposite of what it is you're comfortable with, right? You don't always have to do that. Sometimes the most important thing is to stop existing in this internal emotional winter, a space where you are so cold to yourself. You have the capacity to be warm to yourself, be loving, be very supportive and compassionate. But I think very much like me, we just choose not to. We choose to be our harshest critic. We choose to be um, a very watered down version of ourselves. Ooh, are you a watered down version of yourself because you're drowning in the reality of how profound you actually are? Ooh, are you a watered down version of yourself simply because you are drowning in the reality of how powerful you actually are? I mean, damn. Just because you don't have to come up for air does not mean you can't drown in the reality of you. Mm, 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 mm. Wow. What are you keeping secret from yourself? What part of your truth that's written in your own book of shadows are you keeping secret from yourself? The book of shadows that you have, your personal book of shadows, is a book that catalogs all of your power. It catalogs a fate that you continue to try and deny. It catalogs a wisdom that you refuse to share. Guess what? You can no longer contain this. This is the very thing that the people in your environment, quite possibly even the world, are here to experience, to witness. They are simply asking you to allow them to bear witness to the retrieval of your greatness, a lack of love for yourself, a lack of willingness to ask someone about the distortions that you still live with. Why? Because they'll tell you the truth and then you can't deny it. Ooh, Michael. He says, you realize this is your personal reading for yourself, right? No, I don't. No, I don't. This is a general reading. The inability to transmute the disbelief in how profound you are. How do you transmute that? Easier said than done, right? The way you transmute your disbelief in yourself is by simply witnessing, allowing yourself to see without any type of distorted goggles on, the profoundness of your existence. How do people react to you? How do people receive your existence? And maybe once you allow yourself to enter into that space of true transmutation, where you're taking your distorted beliefs and the excuses you tell yourself about how people don't really mean the compliments they give you. Maybe at that point, you'll also step out of this space of refusing to reclaim the power that is actually yours. How do you deny what people? Okay, so like someone gives you a compliment and you say thank you, right? And then you just sit there and think about how they probably compliment everyone. Who is eating a Rice Krispie treat? You. You can't have none of that. Leave them alone. Let them eat whatever they want. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Y'all can eat whatever you want. I am not going to project my frustration out on you. I don't even feel good when I eat that kind of stuff. So I'm going to leave that alone. The revolutionary, but it's in reverse. You have no idea. This sacred baton has been passed to you, and you're over here thinking it's a sparkler. That sacred baton that's been lit, which is indicative of your obligatory existence to light the path, light the way for people to find their path. You exist as a template for others to inspire them to re-enter into a space of wholeness, totality. And you're over here thinking you're given a sparkler because you're afraid of the dark. No. Your existence is a revolution all on its own. I think we as a community are quantum anomalies in a linear world. And the more you try and be linear, the more distorted the reality of you becomes. I do nothing in life in a linear way. As a daughter of chaos, cosmos is my home. We are not simply made of stars. We are being shown that it is time to take our rightful place among them. Are you a daughter or son of chaos? Chaos is a form of cosmos. If you are chaos, you are a creator. It's time for you to begin consciously creating the next part for everyone. The lack of movement will be corrected. And the more you fight that movement, the more the movement becomes pronounced. What is designed to simply be a noticeable vibration with your degree of refusal to comply, that noticeable vibration can easily become the shifting of tectonic plates, the releasing of pressure, catastrophic tectonic shifting. You're at a point where the plate of your past and the plate of your future are rubbing against each other in the present. Eventually, the pressure will be released. If you don't want it to be catastrophic based on your perception of what's happening in your life, I highly suggest you realign the two pieces so that they can move in a very gentle manner. Conclusions are within reach. You're almost there. You are almost there. The energy is gaining momentum, but here it's in reverse. So it goes back to that space of movement, right? The tectonic shifting that's about to occur. The world is about to change. The world as you know it to be is about to change. Your personal world and the global world, it's about to change. Everything is about to change. The way it changes is up to us. Those who are the children of chaos have the ability to shake up the perception of all of those who have volunteered to witness you in your process. And as you shake up their perception, you give them the potentiality to choose alignment. And in that alignment that they come to, based on their own decisions of how they will interpret what they are witnessing, we are creating alignment within the world once again. The answers you need are coming, but it's in reverse. They're not coming, they're already here. The answers are already inside you, they live in you. The answers flow through you. A time for healing, but it's in reverse. And I think it's in reverse, not because it's not time for healing, but because our perception of what healing means is so far removed from what the actual process of healing is. Anyone who's ever broken a bone or had surgery to repair an injury knows the process of healing oftentimes is much more painful than the event that injured you in the first place, right? Someone breaks your heart, someone betrays you. It's a singular moment in time, a singular moment that you relive for weeks, months, years, sometimes an entire lifetime. The process of healing is not what we think it to be. You're very close to achieving your goal. And what is the goal? Recognizing you've always been in the process of healing this entire time, everything you've done, the ways in which you've shifted your perception, your life, the environments that you've given yourself permission to exit out of, and the new environments you've given yourself permission to enter into and occupy for a time have been adding to your healing of something intangible up till now. A personal issue reaches resolution. What you've been healing is a personal issue, not an issue with the world, a personal issue, something that you've been hiding from yourself. Show the world the real you, and that's what it is. Ooh. The world you live in is an externalized projection of your internal environment. However, you see the world is how you live within yourself and your thoughts. I used to see the world as a horrible place. Now, I see the world as a space full of potential untapped, because now I'm coming to a realization of how much of my potentiality remains untouched, no matter how graciously soul attempts to gift me with a connection to that part of me. Your world will change when you begin to change. Your environment is a direct indication of what's going on inside you. A fiery climax approaches. Go on then, climax. In order to climax, you're going to need to make some adjustments. Adjustments are required. This state of being in a half-ass existence. No, that's not enough. It's not enough. See, look, you're good enough. Full moon. All aspects of you are good enough. The parts that are hidden in shadow, the parts that you've allowed to be witnessed in broad daylight, all parts of you are good enough. Start accepting that as your truth. Emotions are running high. Yeah. Yes, they are. Because you're being called out. You're being called out regarding the ways in which you are insufficiently loving yourself. And don't tell me you're incapable of self-love. If you are capable of loving people who have never been worthy of your love, you're absolutely capable of loving yourself. You just haven't figured that out yet. You will. Keep rolling with me and you will. Because I know everything? Is that why? No. It's because I'm on the same healing journey that you are now on. And together we can bounce ideas. We can hear each other. We can give each other further clarity that we can't reach on our own. So keep joining me here. We'll get to that point together. Because that's what we're meant to do it together, right? And that's how the world begins to change. We get out of that space of compete and compare, out of that space of, I don't want anyone to know the process I'm in because I'm ashamed. We're all in the same process, baby boo. Some of us are just better at hiding it than others. Okay? Be gentle with yourself. I got to get going. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. If you haven't already followed me across all social media, please go ahead and do that now. I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye, everyone.